Hey guys, so in today's video I have a highlighting contour routine. I don't know why I just did it. I don't know why it just slipped my mind. In today's video I show you my cream highlight and contour. I give you a few recommendations of some products as well as some tips and tricks as to how to achieve a natural finish. Also I show you my like actual highlighting products, like you know, highlight on fleek type products. Everything is listed in the description box. If you didn't know, make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you guys find it helpful, and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, let's just get started with the tutorial. I am already starting off with my eyes done, my eyebrows done, and my base done. So I'm just going to be focusing on my highlighting and contour, and I am going to also be giving you some tips. So to start off with highlighting and concealing, I do it all in the same step. I'm going to be using the LA Girl Pro Conceal in Cool Tan, and sometimes I alternate between the Sephora 10-Hour Fix and Correct Concealer. I've been using this LA Girl Pro Conceal for as long as I can remember. I've used it in a few different shades as well, but Cool Tan is my favorite for highlighting, and I'm like completely almost out of this stuff. It's so great. I love it so much. And yes, if you're wondering, I did cut my hair. Thanks for asking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the product and I'm going to squeeze out some in the little brush that this light is so bright. In the little brush that it has, and you guys can see it's just a glob. Like, this isn't the best applicator, but the product is so good, it's honestly worth it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the product and just brush it under my eyes basically. Here, I'll zoom you in for that step. So I'm going to start off by going on the inner corner. I would usually go all the way on the inner corner, but I already have eyeshadow there, so I'm just gonna skip out. So I'm just going to go in a kind of outwards motion, as you can see. So I start off by going down and then keep brushing outwards. And usually I don't squeeze out any more product. I just kind of move it around with the brush, just to make sure I wind up getting in like an even application, you know what I mean? And now I'm going to take whatever's left on the brush. Usually there's just a little bit left. I'm going to take down the bridge of my nose. I really like highlighting my nose, my cupid's bow, my chin, and my forehead. Usually when I highlight to make your face seem more structured, and I have a really round face. I don't know if you guys can tell. So I'm trying to pull out some features of mine to make it look more structured rather than just a big old potato. And also a newer trick is to highlight the jawline, which also makes for an even more structured face, and to make the contour pop. So you can do this step now, or you can do it right after your contour. I'm going to do it after my contour to really show you guys how that works. Now for contour, I'm going to be, okay, usually on an everyday basis I will blend this out right now, set it with some powder and keep going. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to move on to contour so you guys can really see the contrast between the highlight and the contour, if you know what I mean. So I'm taking this Black Radiance Duo Concealer in medium to dark, and this one is so dark, so I mix it with this one, which is more my skin tone, to get that perfect shade. And since this is like super duper waxy and like kind of hard to blend in my opinion with a brush, I mean, we'll be spraying a little bit of Fix Plus on the product to ensure that it blends easily. So I just usually do about one spray on the whole thing, and then take my pointed foundation brush by Real Techniques and then swirl it between the two. This is what I've been doing for about a month and a half now. I really do like doing it this way. So I swirl it between the two, and then sometimes just dip in there and then dip in there, and we're ready to apply it. So what I'm going to do is apply it right above my ear going to my mouth. So that's where you want to do it. If you hold your brush down on top of your ear and it's straight to your mouth, that's your contour point. So to the corner of your mouth. Top of the ear, corner to your mouth is your contour point, and that's where you want to apply the darker concealer or powder. But I like to do cream because it looks more natural in the end. Ta-da! I'm not taking it too far in because the more you take it in, the harsher it is. So I love to contour just because I do have a really round face, and I feel like it makes me look slimmer. And I'm going to just use whatever's left on the brush to apply it down the sides of my nose and under my jawline. Some people would apply it under their lip, but I don't really need that, seeing as my lips are freaking huge and I don't like it. Also, on the sides of the forehead to bring some shade to that area, just in case if you have a bigger forehead and you want to slim it down, I suggest putting some contour on that area up there. Now, like I said, I like to use cream because it looks more natural, but powders also work well too because it's super easy to blend out and stuff like that. So you can do that, or you can, you know, layer it and do both to make it last longer. So this is what it looks like before the blending. And now I'm going to take my damp beauty blender. This is what I use to apply my foundation, and I'm going to blend everything in. With under my eyes, I use the pointed side because it just really helps to get right under the eye and blend everything out. So I like to use patting motions just because that works well. It gives more of a flawless full coverage look rather than swiping. So once it's mainly patted out, I will pat out the rest of the concealer, blend it in on the bottom side of the beauty blender, which is what I use with my foundation. I usually have some foundation left on my hand, take that and then just kind of blend out the edge to make it not look as harsh and to blend into the foundation. So now that I'm blending out for the most part, like I said, I'm going to take the bottom of the sponge to blend out the end of the highlights. If you guys are curious about the other products I use on my face today, like my base and everything, I will leave it all listed down in the description box below, as well as like my eyeshadows and what's on my eyes and stuff. And then for blending out the contour, I usually just take the side of the beauty blender. You see this side just has all the concealer. I'm going to take the absolute side of the beauty blender and use that to blend out the contour places. So on my nose, right under my cheekbones. And with the contour, I just bounce the beauty blender wherever I applied that product, and I find that that helps blend everything together and just looks super duper nice, you know. And always with contour, you want to make sure to blend upwards, because if you blend downwards, you can kind of look like you have like a 5 o'clock shadow going on, and why would you want that? So now that we're all blended out, I'm going to take literally whatever's left and from my foundation and just go all over the perimeter of my face to make sure it's all gooch. So for setting my under eye, you can do a few things. You can set it with the color of your skin tone to make everything blend more. You can set it with a lighter powder than your skin tone, about the same color as your concealer, to help that highlight. And then you can also use a translucent powder, which is what I use, to keep the pigmentation and the color of the concealer, and just to help it look more airbrushed and like flawless. And usually some people like to do the baking method, which is when you take your translucent powder or whatever powder for that matter, load it up on a brush or a sponge like the beauty blender. The beauty blender is great for everything. I suggest if you guys don't have it, try it out. It is pricey, but I think it's worth it. And if you can go to any makeup shows or anything like that, you can get it at a discounted price, and it's great. So you can take your beauty blender, dip it into the product, and just pat it on the places where you set where you put your concealer, and then wait a few minutes, like do your lips or your eyebrows or something, and then dust it off with a big powder brush. But also you can take a small like tapered brush. This is the e.l.f. small tapered brush. It's really great. It's only $3. I suggest you go and try it. They don't sell it in every Target, but if you live in the Chicago like downtown area, I know for sure that they sell it in the city Target on State Street. So I'm just going to be taking some in the cap of the powder. I mean in the cap of the, yeah, the cap of the powder. I don't know if you guys really can't see that, but it's just a little bit of a glob. And ooh, I'm going to basically just load it up on my brush like so. Tap off any excess because there's a lot. And then use whatever's in the brush to set under my eyes. And when you set under your eyes, if you have really bad creasing, you just want to take your beauty or your sponge or whatever you use to apply your concealer to tap out any creases, and then while you're still looking up, take the brush and then tap in the powder, so you don't set the creases and you make it look flawless throughout the whole day. Like I said, take your sponge, tap out any creases, take the brush while still looking up, and then just pat in the product. And there you go. Now I like to apply a cream contour or a cream highlighting like on the tops of my cheeks. So I don't really apply it too far down because I don't want it to mix and look all crazy. Done that by accident before. Trust me, you don't want to do that. So I suggest just taking it right under the eye where you have the most problematic areas and setting it. So like I said, I like to use that cream contour, so I'm just going to use the powder on the rest of the places I don't apply that cream contour. So I usually apply it right here or here on the bridge of my nose and on my cupid's bow. That just works for me. Whatever works for you, honey boo boo. And as like previously stated, to help make that contour pop more, you can take your concealer and apply it right under it. You don't need much. A little goes a long way. And I'm just going to take my sponge and just blend it out. And for this step, it's always easy to use the pointer side to do it, because when you blend it out using patting motions, it leaves just a nice straight line for from that contour. And then again, take the bottom of the sponge to make sure everything looks as natural as possible. So now for the rest of my face, I don't really like to use powder all the time. It is an efficient way to make it stay longer. So I suggest the L'Oreal True Match, and I'm in the shade W8, and it's so great. It's literally the same color as my skin tone, which was really hard for me to find in a powder, like being the same color. So I suggest that one. Usually I would just set under my eyes and maybe take a big fluffy brush and take the translucent powder and just kind of lightly dust my face. But sometimes I just go like this and call it a day, like apply my blush and my highlight and be done. So for cream highlight, I like to use the Stila Kitten convertible color. It's super duper nice and super pretty, and it's virtually good on any skin color. The eyeshadow looks a little bit white, but for some reason this just blends nicer onto my skin. There's a little close up for you. So what I like to do is take it like on my ring finger, on my middle finger, whatever I'm feeling that day. My rubber band just popped. And I'm just going to just pat it on the absolute highest points of my cheeks. And what I like to do is kind of stay in the temple area and kind of bring it down a little bit, not all the way down my cheeks, just a little. So like I said, using the patting motions helps you be able to like absolutely tell that you are on the highest points of your cheeks. So I'm gonna zoom you in so you guys can see. Can you guys see what I'm saying? So when you pat it with your finger, you can feel the highest points of your cheekbones. You can feel the highest points of your cheekbones and blend it out. I apply it with my ring finger, middle finger, and then blend it out again with my beauty blender. This beauty blender is so versatile and it works so well. Especially when you have foundation left in there, it just helps everything look more like from within, you know what I mean? And for highlight, I've been using this for so long, you guys should already know what it is. It's the Lorac Tantalizer Bronzer. It is a bronzer, but it's a highlight on my skin tone, which I don't mind. So I take a fan brush. This is by Elori, I don't know. And I like to dust the product on the highest point of the fan brush and just kind of use swiping motions to apply it to the highest points of my cheeks. And what I like about this, using this as a highlighter, is that it's not too like wham bam all up in your face. It's very like subtle, which is a really great thing. I'm gonna apply a little bit of blush. This is just a Tarte Amazonian Clay blush in True Love. Yeah, True Love. That is the completed highlight and contour routine. If you guys enjoyed it and you found it super helpful, I really tried to achieve that today. Give it a thumbs up, and yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Stay Gucci.